I was a hot air balloon pilot for a number of years. I actually flew over 200 hours, and whilst that may not sound like a lot, when you think of how the weather is in the UK, that actually made me, at the time, one of the most experienced pilots in the UK. I also flew 11 times over the Bristol Channel, which again also made me one of the most experienced pilots to fly over the Bristol Channel. It is quite an interesting experience going over there. Most of the balloons that have taken part in this Balloon Fiesta so far, and there are more flights yet to come, won't be looking to go over the Bristol Channel because the wind is coming completely over ourselves, which is in the wrong direction. It looks as if there will be some excellent opportunities to fly, although there's quite a lot of low clouds. So have a look at our videos of the Balloon Fiesta and enjoy. There's a special shaped balloon there, which is the Panasonic balloon. It's designed to be like a film roll. The thing about the special shapes is that they're actually very, very difficult to inflate and also land in heavy winds, which is probably why you've only got one up so far. It'll probably be okay when it settles down, but it is quite breezy at the moment, so they were lucky to get that up really. There's a balloon which is a orange, green and blue one, which has got Lindstrand on the side. Now interestingly enough, Per Lindstrand actually had his own manufacturing company. I actually went up there and met Per Lindstrand. Per Lindstrand is quite a famous person. He's been around the world with Richard Branson. It's possibly him that's actually flying the balloon. When I say around the world with Richard Branson, I'm talking about in a hot air balloon, of course. They hold a number of different records for various adventures as far as the balloon's concerned. He is an ex-Swedish Air Force pilot. So that's a little bit of background on Per Lindstrand. There's another quite interesting special shape. There's another special shaped balloon on the horizon, which is actually in the shape of a cockerel's head. I'm not quite sure because it's not turned towards us exactly what that's due to represent. What's quite interesting about hot air balloons is that they're actually classified as aircraft, and all aircraft in the UK have a registration which starts with the letter G and then 4 further letters. So one of my balloons, for example, was G-BRIE, and as the balloon was mainly green, we decided to call it the Green Brie Hot Air Balloon Team. Bristol Balloon's balloon actually takes a dozen people in the basket, so it's quite a large basket, and it's a totally different ball game trying to land something like that. There's quite an interesting one there, which is actually just on the edge of the cloud, you can see. But also when you're actually in the balloon, you are aware you're in cloud. Potentially, it really depends on just how heavy the cloud itself is. I've been through cloud. It's quite a weird sensation, really. It's not what you would expect. I don't know quite how to describe it. It's not quite as wet as what you would have thought it was, I think, was the surprise. There's also a BT balloon, there's a BT balloon just on the horizon, which is about to go past us. So it's quite a large one. That's probably a 12-person rescue. I think it's quite a large balloon. What? Oh yeah. It's quite interesting that it's people speculate that the reason why dogs bark is because the pitch at which the burner hisses, which is something that there's a certain pitch there that we can hear some of it, but not all of it. But there's a theory that there's a frequency which actually is similar to prehistoric predators, flying creatures such as pterodactyls, etc. I don't know who came up with that theory, but that's why they believe that dogs bark. And if you're up there, you can literally hear 1,000 dogs barking at a time. It's quite embarrassing. Fortunately, on the ground, all you tend to hear is more often than not just your own dog. The Panasonic balloon is what they call a special shape. Quite interestingly, when I was flying out from Longley to One Balloon Fiesta there was a balloon that actually took off and it got caught by a gust of wind, a special shape, very, very similar to the Panasonic balloon. And we were actually watching it from the ground, horrified, because it effectively caught what's known as wind shears, where you've literally got two different winds going in different directions and speed. And what actually happened was that unbelievably, the basket and the bottom part of the balloon with the pilot in it actually got caught by a gust of wind, and it deflated the top of the balloon, and the next thing that the pilot knew, he was actually parallel to the top of the balloon, and he wasn't very high up. So suddenly what he had to do was to release air from the balloon very, very quickly, and he started to come down like a ton of The winds are strange tonight. These here behind them are barely moving. And yet those that have just gone over are going like a bat out of hell. decent camera, you get quite a nice shot there with the sun. Worth getting up tomorrow morning. Yeah.